Really, I think the goal and our prayer should be to have enough that we're not constantly stressed by the bills, but not so much that we're obsessed with it and burdened by how to manage it all. I don't know what to do with this money now. Put it on the floor because that's a safe spot. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Micaela and I talk about all things motherhood and how to not just survive it, but how to actually enjoy this thing called motherhood. So I talk a lot about minimalism and creativity and my faith and healthy habits for moms. So this is another one of those videos all about money and 7 things I want to teach my kids about money. It's so interesting going from learning about things myself and forming opinions as a young adult to now thinking about it through the lens of what do I want to teach my kids. It's interesting how that changes my perspective because certain habits or opinions that I might have held as a single individual, now that I'm responsible for stewarding other people and informing their opinions, I really need to step it up and learn more about some of these things. And money is one of those areas for me. I'm really thankful for everything my parents taught me about money. I grew up really learning how to not spend money. I feel like when it came to my money education, that's where the main focus was. My parents were very good about that, very frugal, never placed their identity in the things that they owned, and I definitely learned that from them, and I'm very thankful. That was really the main thing that I learned, and there's a lot that I wish I had also learned as a child and as a young adult, that now, even though I want to pass that on to my kids, I want to teach them also how to not spend money. I want to teach them so much more. So I'm going to dive into those 7 things I want my kids to know about money. Number 1, I want to teach my kids how not to spend money. Like I said, that was kind of the foundation of my own money education, and I want to share that with them as well. I really believe contentment with what we have is the first step towards happiness and peace in our finances. And it's also the first step towards minimalism. I talk about minimalism a lot on this channel, and the first step towards minimalism is not decluttering our whole house, but actually stopping the flow of items coming into our home so that we can take care of what we own. We're all gonna make decisions that we regret. So when that happens, when you buy something that you regret, I used to really beat myself up over that and spend a lot of time berating myself about past purchase decisions and thinking, oh, if I hadn't spent that $5, I would have $5 more right now. And it was pretty unhealthy for me to be so fixated on that. But I'm at a much more healthy, balanced place with it now where, of course, sometimes I buy things and realize I really didn't need that. But I'm able to just view it as data. I learned something. I'm not going to buy that thing again or that type of thing. And I can easily move on instead of getting fixated on it the way I did in the past. So if this in particular is an area that you want to grow, the area of not spending money, I've created a free 30-minute video class all on that topic. It's called Spend Smart. I'll put the link below. You can sign up and I'll send that class straight to your email inbox. Number 2, I want my kids to know how to live without debt. And that includes credit cards. I thought I had to have a credit card, and I think there are so many subtle lies around this that make us think we need credit cards or that life is better with credit cards. Things like credit score and credit card points, and I fell for so many of those things. The day I turned 18, I was so excited because it meant I could finally get a credit card and finally start earning points. That's what I did. On my 18th birthday, I went and immediately applied to get a credit card, and I was so excited. Thankfully, I've never had a ton of credit card debt, but I believed the lie that if I paid it off every month, it was totally fine to own a credit card and it wouldn't affect me. But I recently learned YouTube started feeding me all of the Ramsey people content, Dave Ramsey and his daughter Rachel Cruz. After watching Rachel for a while, it really changed my perspective, and she shared a stat that people spend something like 30% more on credit because our brain disassociates from that money. We don't see it as spending real money, so we spend more. And since now getting rid of our credit cards, I can definitely say that is accurate for me. I lost that connection, that almost pain of spending my real money, and I was definitely spending more and being less conscious on credit cards. We got to a place where we were always kind of spending ahead on next week's paycheck because I knew the money would come in to pay it off. But then we were never quite reaching our savings goals, and I didn't realize why until we got rid of all those credit cards and started spending real money again. Number 3, I want my kids to know how to make money. Obviously, everyone knows you can go out, get a job, and make money, but I want my kids to know there are other ways to make money, that they can start a business, they can do a service for people, or they can create a product. I'm definitely still learning about this myself, but I want to learn different ways to make money so that I can teach those ways to my children. And along those lines, I feel like there was so much pressure in high school on choosing a career and choosing something you were going to be passionate about for the rest of your life. And I think that's just such bogus, that you need to be passionate about the way you make money. I wish instead I had just gotten a job, been okay with working, putting in the time, and looked for passion elsewhere, because I think I just wasted a lot of time trying to find a career that was going to be my dream job. And I wish instead I had looked at the life I actually wanted as a whole and figured out how I wanted to make money within that, instead of looking for a career I was passionate about. I remember talking to another young woman a couple of years ago. She was just starting her career in massage therapy, and I asked her, oh, like, what made you decide to go into massage therapy? Thinking it would just be like, oh, I thought it would be fun, or some kind of basic answer like people usually have with a question like that. But her answer, I still think about it all the time. She told me, my mom was a hairdresser, so she was able to be home with us kids and still work and still have a way to make money. And because I want the same kind of life, because I want a family, I chose massage therapy because it can fit into that. And that answer just blew my mind, because for some reason when I was trying to pick a career and figure out how to make money, I never thought to think about the life and the family I wanted and choose a career based on that. For some reason I thought the career had to come first, and then you just try to have a family alongside that. But my values have shifted a lot, and that will be something that I teach my kids, is to think through the life that they want and then figure out how to make money, instead of trying to find a career they can be passionate about. Number 4, I want to teach my kids what to do when you have money. So obviously that includes budgeting. When the money comes in, what do you do with it? How do you divide it up? That's another thing that I think I was taught really well. I was taught to tithe first and save first and then spend the rest, which again, because I was using credit cards for our everyday expenses for so long, that was a little bit muddy. It was hard to actually truly save first when I was paying last week's purchases on the credit card. It also just occurred to me, I don't know why this was so mind-blowing for me, but everyone talks about budgeting monthly. So I always thought I needed a monthly budget, but a month is just so long. It's hard for me mentally to stay on track with a monthly budget. But with my husband's job, we get paid weekly. I finally realized I can just create a weekly budget instead, and then it's so much easier to stay on track. And it's also reset every week. So if there's a week where things feel a little bit tight, maybe I overspend on groceries or something like that, I get a fresh start right away the next week. I don't have to consider this month a write-off and go overspend more and then wait until next month. I know that sounds so simple. Like, of course you can create a weekly budget, but it was mind-blowing for me when I realized that. And on that same topic of teaching them what to do when you have money, I want to teach them how to save money as part of that budget, but also how to invest. And I think at this point, I will just send my kids to an investment professional, because there is just so much to learn in that area, and I don't have the brain capacity for that. Number 5, I want to teach my kids how to use money to plan for the future. I want to teach them about things like a retirement savings plan and life insurance. Those were very much new to me when I got married, and I'm thankful my sister-in-law is constantly talking about those things and encouraging everyone she knows to save for retirement and get life insurance and all those good things. Life insurance is one of those things that I always thought was kind of a waste of money until we had kids. Then it made a ton of sense. I think every wife goes through this, where you have these intrusive thoughts when your husband's home a little bit late one day maybe, and you're like, oh my goodness, what if he's dead? What am I going to do? And of course, for one thing, you're sad thinking about that, but my thoughts used to be something like, oh my goodness, what if Tommy's dead? I'm gonna be so sad, and I'm not gonna be able to afford anything because he's the one who earns an income and I'm home with the kids. But now life insurance, I feel like you are just paying for your peace of mind when you have life insurance, because now Instead, when I have those intrusive thoughts, I can just think, oh my goodness, that would be terrible. That would be so sad. And it's not this added stress of what would I do financially. It's just the normal, I hope my husband's okay because I really love him, but I want him to come home and I can focus on that. Number 6, I want to teach my kids how to be transparent with their money. And by that, I mean, I guess I want to model that for them. I want to be honest with them. If I buy something and I regret it, if I overspend on something, if I maybe make an investment that doesn't go well, I want to be honest with my kids about those things so that they can learn from me. Of course, I think that's something we have to balance as the parent. I always want my kids to feel secure in our finances. If things were genuinely very much not going well, I don't think I would necessarily disclose that to my kids in the middle of it. But of course, after, once things have kind of leveled out, that could be a great learning opportunity to walk through with my children and teach them how to maybe not make those mistakes in their own life. And then I want that knowledge to translate to how they parent my grandkids. And I hope they will be able to be transparent with their money as well and instill good habits in their own kids. Number 7, I want to teach my kids how to stop thinking about money, because of course money just isn't everything, as we know. And I think we all have different priorities when it comes to money. I used to think the goal was to make as much money as possible, but really that's so incredibly stressful, trying to spend all your time making money, trying to maximize every investment to make as much as possible. Really, I think the goal and our prayer should be to have enough that we're not constantly stressed by the bills, stressed trying to pay for everything, but not so much that we're obsessed with it and burdened by how to manage it all. And of course, that's an area that I'm constantly praying into as well, because of course I pray that God is going to increase our finances and that He will bless our family. And I pray that as He does, He will grow us as individuals and teach us how to steward that money. So there you go. That's the 7 things I want to teach my kids about money. Which one of the things on this list do you feel like you need to learn more about? Comment below and let me know, because I'm curious what you were taught and how you want to grow. And if it does happen to be spending less money, like I said, I'll link that free class for you. It's called Spend Smart. So you can sign up for that. I'll email the class right to you. It's about a 30-minute class of me talking about how to spend less money and just some really practical tips and tools and strategies to keep more of the money that you're making in your pocket. So if you liked this video, go ahead and give it a like, subscribe so you can stick around here, and please send it to a friend that you think it could bless. Thanks for watching.